Somewhere hidden in here are 3 pumpkins. Excuse me. I think we can see this one is right over here, but I don't know what I'm getting here, so who knows. But anyway, those are all Corvettes, and we seem to be having a second season here. There is powdery mildew, and advanced powdery mildew. Here's what it looks like. It's over on the other side of the garden. These are all they're all magic lantern. So that's what the kind of damage it does. I am not treating right now. I am watering, but no treatments and no food, because it is the very end of the season in Zone 5, even though we have a late season heat wave underway in the next few days. Let's try to get the pumpkin a little bit closer now. There we go. Pretty good sized Corvette, which surprises me, given the time of the year it is. Look at this, the vine on that thing, if you can see it. That's huge. There we go. Oh, here's another one. There's the other one I could never find. Of course, the viewfinder can't find it either. Where's my head? There we go. There's the second pumpkin, and the third one is right there. So there's our 3 pumpkins, and while I'm up, I'll show you our new pond. The next time you see this, it will be landscaped. But right now, it's about 100 gallons, which is good enough for 3 goldfish. And there are now 3 in there. Moby Dick, who was the feeder goldfish that I had since last year, survived the winter in the little pond over there. He is in there. The newer pond fish that I had gotten early in the summer did not make it to the new pond. She apparently did not like conditions in the smaller pond, and she apparently died. I could not find any trace of her. And yeah, I was careful to get 3 males, well, 2 males, because Moby Dick is a male, and in the spring, in the summer, they harass the females pretty badly. And that noise you heard is a green frog. They make little banjo noises. Right here. I don't know if I'm getting him. Right there. There should be a green frog for you. I had a green frog living in the old pond. We named her Freda, but I don't see Freda today. I haven't seen her in a couple of days. And what I noticed is, the moment this pond went in, the frogs seemed to move here. So there were at least 2 frogs in this pond at one point, and there were 2 in this pond over here. And now it seems like any frogs that are here are all in the new fish pond. So they're definitely liking it. And like I said, there's going to be landscaping here. Right now, no landscaping. So, the garden is a mess. I keep meaning to pull things out, but when I went to do that last week, I got stung twice by wasps, I assume. So, I just decided not to do it at this time until the wasps calm down, which should be another few weeks. Wasps are a kind of a problem in gardens in Zone 5. But anyway, I don't worry about it much. You also get a lot of bees, and some people are terrorized of bees, and I'm not really scared of bees myself. Wasps scare me, though, because they're kind of psycho. Anyway, first of all, I thought I would clarify the word heirloom. What I said before was true, but not the whole truth. An heirloom is a hybrid that is stabilized. It will reproduce itself faithfully without assistance from a human. And that's why some fairly new cultivars like Big Beef Tomato are already heirlooms. Big Beef's only about 30 years old. Because it's stable. If you plant the seeds from your tomato, you will get another Big Beef plant next year. Not true of many of the newer pumpkins. But it is true of the older ones like what was the one I grew this year? I have no idea. It started with an H, but anyway, those are the ones that tend to be more fragile and harder to grow, and I think they're the ones that gave pumpkins a bad name for backyard growing because they take a lot of space, and like I said, they're fragile. Howden was the pumpkin, Howden, and Atlantic Giant, and Atlantic Giant is the pumpkin from which the giant pumpkin contests around the country and around the world were born. But it is quite fragile, even though it's the only cultivar I think that produces the gigantic 2,000-pound pumpkins. It's quite fragile, hard to grow, and takes a lot of fuss, even if you're not trying to grow a giant pumpkin with it. And on the other hand, these little guys, the short vine and so-called bush pumpkins, do not take a lot of fuss to grow. No more fuss. You may have thought I was fussing during the summer. I wasn't. It was no more fuss than growing a tomato, really. You have to be aware of certain bugs that you're going to encounter and certain diseases, but no harder to grow. Especially if you grow something like Corvette for your first time out, or Racer, you're going to have success. So, don't sweat it. Don't get yourself one of those old heirloom pumpkins, and that's all they sell in the stores, by the way. You just make yourself miserable. So start off your pumpkin growing life with Corvette or Racer, and you will be happy, and you'll keep coming back. And maybe someday you can grow a giant pumpkin without too much sweat, because you've already learned a little bit by growing the smaller pumpkins with the shorter vines. Anyway, I have my seeds for next year, and I know, big controversy, but I can guarantee you that at least 80% of these will germinate. Even 2 years down the road, at least 80% will germinate. I've had that happen too. Anyway, here is Racer Plus, and that will be growing around the bases of the large fiber pots that I will be using. And here is Corvette for next year. And again, you may be asking, why don't I just save a pumpkin, save the seeds? The reason is that they will not come back Corvettes. They may come back as something else. These are not stabilized hybrids yet. Racer Plus may be close to that status, I don't know. Or at least Racer, from which Racer Plus came, may be close to that status, but not this one. So, yeah. Looking forward to this. My first Racer vines in several years. I remember the good old days. Over here, I think I showed you last week, Dynasty will be my experimental pumpkin, and that will be right where those marigolds are. And it'll be growing off across the lawn. I do not fertilize the lawn, so that should not be a problem. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, the white icicle radishes for planting around the pumpkins. And that will discourage, hopefully, hopefully squash bugs. Right now there are very few squash bugs in the garden. They must have a season that ends at the end of August, because it did calm down quite a bit. I doubt that I eliminated them all just with my treatments. And I'm going to be doing short little sunflowers again. Mardi Gras blend, different colors. Chocolate cherry, and it's a dark brown one like the one I had here, and Pro Cut Plum F1. So now I'll just throw those all in like I did this year, except that one of them is really short. One of them is only 2 feet tall. So it's somewhere on the package here. Okay. So that's my garden for next year. And I explained to you a little bit more about heirlooms. They're still hybrids, but they're stabilized. They'll always come back as what they're supposed to be. And newer pumpkins like these Corvettes definitely won't. Well, or they'll come back 1 year and they won't come back the next. One year I grew Racer, I think it was. I think it was Racer alongside a red warty thing. And I got my own little hybrid there that came back for about 2 years, but the third year it started going downhill. So, and I also have my little tomato that I showed you last week. I don't know if I have any in the garden right now, but I have saved the seeds from that. Hopefully I'll be able to grow them next year. Usually I let Mother Nature do the work, but this year, as I said, there wasn't a good year for them, so I saved the seeds. And I should probably also save the seeds from my own personal cherry tomato. But what the heck, they come back like gangbusters every year anyhow. I don't see anything really healthy looking in the garden, but here's one that I'm not going to pick because it's half eaten. And I'll show you the color of my little personal heirloom. This one has come back faithfully every year for 3 years. So I know it's an heirloom. No intervention required by a human. Okay, right there. Sorry it's an ugly picture, but they are green and salmon colored, and they are quite small. A little bit bigger than a large cherry tomato, and that's it. But they have a wonderful flavor. And those are my cherry tomatoes there. And I'm not going to show you Big Beef because it looks awful right now. Still getting a ton of peppers. Late season rush on Fooled You here. And Tam over here. And even Melrose is kind of perking up a little bit after being very quiet for a while. Got about 3 peppers this week. But it is the end of the season. Time to start pulling things out. I should probably pull all of these sick vines out. But I just wanted to show them to you, to show you what powdery mildew looks like and the damage it does. So anyway, that is it for this week. I'll probably see you next week. I'm going to try to continue this series through the winter. Usually I just go on vacation in October and I don't come back till May. But I'm going to try to keep going through the winter, so If you think of any garden subjects, let me know, and I'll research it and I'll do a video. Okay, see you later.